Welcome everyone. In today's video, I am going to discuss how to get along with anyone and not take things personally. And specifically, I'll be sharing my Bible, which is the 4 Agreements. Absolutely love this book. It was written by Don Miguel Ruiz. You can see that I have certain chapters, I have them outlined, I have bookmarks. I've read this book many times. So to start, I'm going to take you through the 4 agreements. Specifically, however, we will be focused on the second agreement, how to not take things personally. So let's dive in. Don't take things personally. If you have the book, you can follow along. Starting on page 48, I'm going to share some insights. Nothing other people do is because of you. It is because of themselves. All people live in their own dream, in their own mind. They are in a completely different world from the one we live in. When we take something personally, we make the assumption that they know what is in our world, and we try to impose our world on their world. On page 50, Don Miguel goes on to say, it is not important what you think about me, and I don't take what you think about me personally. If you say, Miguel, you are the best, I don't take it personally. If you say, Miguel, you are the worst, I don't take it personally. Either way, it does not affect me. I know what I am. I don't have the need to be accepted. So this is so incredibly important when we think about feedback, especially from those in, positions of authority. Could be parents, could be a manager, it could be a teacher, like someone who has a lot of influence over us. I see situations where, someone is given feedback and it takes such a tremendous toll on them. And it defines who they are. And it could be from one person. It's one person's point of view. So in order to illuminate the second agreement, I'm going to share examples both from a professional perspective as well as a personal perspective. So let's say that I am in a role and I have 2 different managers during my time in that role. One manager says, Colleen, you're not a strategic thinker. Another manager, conversely, says, Colleen, you are a strategic powerhouse. Which manager is right? They are both right, according to how they define strategic thinking. It could also be according to their perception of me, their assumptions of me, how much they knew my work, their own bias. And so it's very important when you receive any sort of feedback to be discerning, to be objective. And so with the more critical feedback from the first manager, it's a tremendous opportunity for me to grow and develop and understand where this manager is coming from. As part of being a strategic thinker, you have to communicate your strategy effectively. You have to influence, you have to impact others. And so that's really key. That may have been potentially an area of growth for me. Then with the manager who shared positive feedback, I have to be very careful not to believe that wholeheartedly, because then I won't grow and develop. I'll just think, yeah, I'm amazing. Yeah, I'm a strategic powerhouse. I don't need to improve. When frankly, the majority of us need to improve when it comes to strategic thinking. So I wanted to share that example in case it resonates with you. Again, we have the choice to do whatever we would like with feedback. We do not need feedback to define us. However, it can help us tremendously if we choose to do so. It can help us figure out our areas of growth. It also can highlight areas where we may be excelling. So the personal example I would like to share happened a few years ago. I started a group for female business owners and entrepreneurs, and really excited about this group. I wanted to bring together women, for support and best practices, collaboration, just really positive energy. And during the first group, there was a woman who kind of had a bit of an emotional outburst during the introductions. She said that we were skipping over her, which was not the case at all. Then she went on to say that women can bully and they can backstab and they can be mean and they can gang up on one another. It was just a bit surprising. I think all of us were caught off guard. And so what I shared, kind of my vision for the group was, again, to create more of an inclusive group. I wanted to ensure that everyone's voice was heard. I wanted to make sure it was a supportive group. I wasn't sure what to think, but proceeded, scheduled another meeting for the group. And the same woman showed up again. She went on with kind of her same feedback about women. She also said to me in front of the group, I don't feel supported by you. She shared this feedback with me about 3 times. And, I didn't react. But what I said to her is, I'm really sorry that you feel that way. Please let me know what I can do to support you. I really want to learn and grow and ensure that this group is successful. And she wouldn't provide any concrete examples. So it was really hard to understand what was happening. So long story short, I left this second meeting and my nervous system was very much rattled. I wasn't kind of used to such abrasive feedback in a group. I've had years and years of facilitation experience, and I've really tried to hone my skills over the year and make sure that everyone feels as though they're being heard. And, I definitely think there were areas of opportunity for me, and I will take her feedback to heart. However, what I realized, thinking about this second agreement of not taking things personally, as I mentioned, unfortunately, this woman had bad experience with women, and so she just had a negative view of women. And no matter what I would have done, I think there was just something either about me or being kind of the group leader that triggered her. And so it's really important for me to realize, this is her view of the world. And I can't change that, especially just meeting her. Second, I also observed some potential unresolved childhood trauma. While I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a therapist, I've done my own work over the years. I've been very interested in how, trauma causes people to react. And the more profound the reaction, likely the deeper the trauma from childhood. And so that may have been a potential issue. And then third, just in observing her behaviors and communication styles, I also wondered too if potentially she was dealing with a mental health challenge. Again, I'm not diagnosing. I don't know at all. It was just a bit of erratic communication, and I've had experiences with different personality types similar to hers in the past. And so, for me, I could have completely given up and thought, I'm never facilitating another group. I'm not meant to be a leader. But I just had to realize, everyone has their own perspective. And interestingly enough, I received positive feedback from a few other members of the group who said, oh, you really made sure that, people were valued and heard. So it was a little bit of a disorienting experience for sure, but a good learning opportunity. So wanted to share those personal and professional examples. And then also, before we end, I think it's important to learn a little bit more about the second agreement. And I love this section that Don Miguel writes about. He says, when you feel good, everything around you is good. When everything around you is great, everything makes you happy. You are loving everything that is around you because you're loving yourself, because you like the way you are, because you're content with you, because you're happy with your life. You are happy with the movie that you are producing, happy with your agreements with your life. And so when you see the universe working for you, when you see people as genuinely kind and good, when you love yourself, that's your movie. it's bright and colorful, it doesn't mean that you can't be angry, especially with the amount of injustice in the world. It doesn't mean that you can't be sad. So I'm not trying to paint this Pollyanna, rainbows and unicorns view of the world. Like, it's important for you to embrace those negative emotions and honor them. However, the more at peace you are, it's the more content with who you are. You're not as rattled by life. Like, you see the best in others. You see the best in life. So with that, I would love to close and ask for a request. If you have read the 4 agreements and it's changed your life, I would love to know in what ways your life has been changed, and also what agreement resonates the most with you. That's all. Thanks so much for joining. See you in the next video.